On May 7, 1992, the 27th Amendment was ratified, preventing any law-changing congressional salaries from taking effect until after the next House election. This amendment has a remarkable backstory. It was originally proposed in 1789 as part of the Bill of Rights, but took over 200 years to achieve ratification, making it the longest ratification process in American history. The story begins with James Madison and the first Congress in 1789. Madison proposed 12 amendments to the Constitution as the Bill of Rights. 10 of these were ratified quickly and became the amendments we know today, protecting freedoms of speech, religion, and other fundamental rights. But 2 failed to achieve ratification. One of these concerned congressional pay. Madison proposed that no law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. The logic was simple. Members of Congress shouldn't be able to vote themselves immediate pay raises. Any salary change should only affect the next Congress, after voters had a chance to judge whether their representatives deserved re-election. This amendment received significant support initially. By 1791, 6 states had ratified it, but it fell short of the 3/4 majority needed. As the other 10 amendments became the Bill of Rights, this pay amendment was forgotten by most Americans. It sat dormant for decades, seemingly a historical curiosity. But here's where the story becomes fascinating. The amendment had no ratification deadline. Unlike many modern amendments that include 7-year deadlines, Madison's proposal could theoretically be ratified centuries later. And that's exactly what happened. In 1873, Congress voted itself a retroactive pay increase, triggering public outrage. Ohio ratified Madison's forgotten pay amendment in protest, but no other state followed. The amendment again faded from attention. The modern ratification campaign began with a college student. In 1982, Gregory Watson was a sophomore at the University of Texas at Austin, taking a government class. For a term paper, he wrote about Madison's forgotten pay amendment, arguing it could still be ratified. His professor gave him a C, skeptical that a 200-year-old amendment remained viable. Watson was convinced he was right. He began a one-man letter-writing campaign, contacting state legislators across the country, urging them to ratify the amendment. This seemed like a quixotic quest one young man trying to resurrect an amendment that had been dormant for 200 years. But Watson's timing was perfect. In the 1980s and early 1990s, Americans were increasingly frustrated with Congress. Scandals, gridlock, and perceived corruption made congressional pay raises particularly unpopular. Watson's campaign tapped into genuine public anger about congressional self-dealing. In 1983, Maine became the first state to ratify the amendment in the modern era. Colorado followed in 1984. Then in 1985, 5 more states ratified. The movement was gaining momentum. Throughout the late 1980s, state after state ratified Madison's amendment, motivated by frustration with congressional behavior and appeal of limiting legislators' ability to award themselves pay raises. By 1992, 38 states had ratified enough for the 3/4 majority required. Michigan became the crucial state on May 7, 1992. New Jersey followed the same day. Suddenly, an amendment first proposed in 1789 had achieved ratification 203 years later. But was it valid? Constitutional scholars debated whether an amendment could be ratified over such a long period. Some argued that amendments must be ratified within a reasonable time to reflect contemporary consensus. Others countered that without an explicit deadline, no time limit applied. Congress itself was uncertain. Some members questioned the amendment's validity, but political reality made opposition impossible. Voting against an amendment limiting congressional pay raises would be electoral suicide. On May 20, 1992, both houses of Congress voted to accept the 27th Amendment as valid. The Archivist of the United States certified it as ratified. The 27th Amendment's practical impact has been limited, but symbolically important. Congress must now wait until after the next election before any pay changes take effect. This prevents the most egregious form of self-dealing, voting yourself an immediate raise. It forces representatives to face voters before benefiting from their own pay legislation. However, the amendment doesn't prevent pay raises entirely, and Congress has found ways to work around it. Cost of living adjustments, which are automatic increases tied to inflation, don't require new votes and thus don't trigger the amendment. Congress can also vote for raises knowing they'll take effect after the next election, betting that voters won't remember or care 2 years later. The amendment hasn't stopped congressional salaries from rising. In 1992, when the amendment was ratified, members of Congress earned $129,500. Today, rank-and-file members earn $174,000. These increases have occurred gradually through cost-of-living adjustments and occasional votes for raises that took effect after subsequent elections. Critics of the 27th Amendment argue it's largely symbolic and ineffective. Congress still gets raises, just delayed by 2 years. The amendment might actually make it harder to attract quality people to Congress by complicating already difficult discussions about appropriate compensation for legislators. Supporters respond that the amendment serves an important principle, even if its practical impact is modest. It prevents the most blatant self-dealing and forces representatives to wait until after facing voters before benefiting from pay legislation. Symbolically, it reminds Congress that it serves the people, not itself. The 27th Amendment teaches several fascinating lessons. First, that constitutional amendments without deadlines remain viable indefinitely. This created the opportunity for Watson's remarkable campaign to succeed. Future reformers might look to other unratified amendments for similar opportunities. Second, the amendment demonstrates the power of individual initiative. Gregory Watson, a college student armed only with determination and stamps for letters, succeeded in changing the Constitution. This proves that ordinary citizens can effect extraordinary change when they're persistent and tap into genuine public sentiment. Third, the 27th Amendment shows how public frustration with government can drive constitutional reform. The amendment succeeded because Americans were angry about congressional dysfunction and saw limiting pay raises as a way to express that anger. Successful amendments often channel broad public frustration into specific constitutional changes. Fourth, the amendment raises questions about constitutional processes. Should amendments have implicit time limits even without explicit deadlines? Does ratification over 200 years truly reflect current public consensus? Or does it simply reflect opportunistic protest voting? These questions remain contested. The 27th Amendment's ratification story is unique in American constitutional history. No other amendment took remotely as long to ratify. No other amendment was forgotten for so long and then resurrected. No other amendment owes its existence primarily to one determined college student who refused to accept his professor's skepticism. In 2017, the University of Texas at Austin officially changed Gregory Watson's grade on that paper from a C to an A, recognizing that his professor had been wrong, the amendment was viable, and Watson's determination had proved it. This grade change, 35 years after the original paper, provided fitting recognition for Watson's achievement. As we reflect on the 27th Amendment, we're reminded that the Constitution belongs to the people, not just to government officials or constitutional scholars. When an ordinary citizen believes strongly enough in a cause and is willing to work persistently toward it, constitutional change is possible. The amendment also reminds us that limiting government self-dealing is an ongoing challenge. The founders understood that officials would be tempted to use their positions for personal benefit. The 27th Amendment adds another check on this temptation, modest though its practical impact may be. Most importantly, the 27th Amendment proves that constitutional reform doesn't require powerful political movements, wealthy backers, or institutional support. Sometimes it requires only one person with conviction, determination, and enough postage stamps to convince legislators across the country that change is necessary. The journey from Madison's proposal in 1789 to final ratification in 1992 is the longest in American constitutional history, but it demonstrates that good ideas can endure, that constitutional processes remain open to citizen participation, and that even proposals forgotten for 2 centuries can achieve success when the right person comes along at the right time to champion them.